Welcome back to the beautiful South Florida area. If you're like many families who are looking to relocate down to the area, you might be looking at cities that are right on the coast, like Boca Raton, that I'm currently in now. But over time, or due to certain needs of what you and your family have, you may start looking at other cities. And some of these cities may not be directly on the beach, such as Boca. So one of these cities that actually help quite a few buyers discover, find, and I appreciate help them relocate to is a city called Parkland, Florida. So the reason I want to bring this up, I was helping another buyer last week, and when we're going over the homes and the square feet, they realized that they could get a lot more for their money in Parkland, and it was a trade-off that they had to make because this particular family had a situation where they couldn't really be in the sun too much, so they weren't really going to be out here on the beach. So it just made more sense for them. They're looking for a place that had, decent schools, wasn't too busy, and they just felt like it was a nice area for them, and Parkland was that area. So I just want to bring more awareness and get a general overview of what it feels like living in Parkland from somebody who decided themselves that Parkland wasn't for them. Now I want to provide you with a good overview of what is it like actually living in Parkland, the vibe, what's the housing situation like, and what are the pros and kind of the cons to living there. All right, we have left the beach area officially, and we're back in the city limits of Boca Raton. Somebody had a question about this particular area, so we're here today. Sorry, the beach was still very humid that day. It was probably like 98 degrees, again, with 100% humidity, and walking even with shade was a little bit difficult. I couldn't stop sweating, and my eyes were burning, unfortunately. So we're in the city limits of Boca Raton, and just stay tuned towards the end of this video. I have several house tours that I want you to get a better impression of what your money gets in Parkland. So most of the houses that I'm going to show are right around that $900,000 mark. Yes, Parkland can be quite expensive. Expect to pay at least about $800,000 to $900,000 for your house if you're looking for the very typical house in Parkland. But the houses in Parkland tend to be much larger than what you'll get here in Boca Raton. So the neighborhood I'm in currently is a neighborhood that starts right around $700,000, right around a 1,500 square foot house. But in Parkland, your $700,000 house would be closer to about 3,000 square feet. So you're doubling your house size. And again, you're in amazing school districts. It's a very, like I said, a much smaller area, but you get a much newer house and a much larger house in Parkland than you would, say, in Boca Raton. Now, you don't have that beautiful beach, but you still have some really amazing schools that are located there, that a lot of people really enjoy the schools. And some interesting things about Parkland, the median household income now is above $211,000. So just put that in perspective. It's a very affluent area, and you never feel like there's any type of, extreme poverty that you would in some other areas in South Florida. So the actual poverty rate of Parkland is actually below 4%. It's in the 3%. If you're wondering about any other types of demographics about the area, it's about 65% white. Another interesting thing is about almost like 9% Asian. So it's a very diverse community there as well. Now, if you don't have to be in Boca Raton, you don't really care about the beach so much, it's another area that I can help families like your family looking to relocate to other areas here in South Florida. Parkland is a great option. I know I always talk high things about Boca. Parkland is also a very beautiful place. It's not so busy. My own opinion, it can be boring at times because, you don't have these amazing restaurants all around you. I feel, my personal opinion, that Boca Raton has an amazing selection of restaurants, but Parkland, you get a very general, mainstream restaurants located there, but you would have to leave the city to do anything major, a major date night. You would have to leave. I know people will mention that you would have to leave Boca Raton to drive to Delray or something to do something fun, but Delray is not that far. It's, from where I live, it's about a 10-minute drive. So Boca Raton is in the perfect location to take advantage of a lot of things here in South Florida. Parkland's a little bit further west, so just be aware of that. So if you're going to do anything outside of Parkland, it can be a little bit more difficult to go outside of Parkland. Again, it's not a deal breaker. If you're okay driving 30, 45 minutes to do anything intriguing and fun and interesting, that's fine. A lot of people do enjoy. So I do know quite a few people who live in Parkland. They like the quietness. They like, the things that everything just works there. It's very easy, and there's never any real commotion. Another drawback of Parkland will have to be its HOA. So again, this could be a plus or minus depending on what you like and your personal preference, but pretty much everything there is going to be an HOA. So if you want to move down here and be in a non-HOA environment, Parkland's going to be much harder to get that type of lifestyle for you. It's possible. It's going to be more on the east side of Parkland, not a newer home, but it is possible. But if you don't mind spending, you know, a few $100s a month on an HOA, Parkland could work for you. Parkland could definitely work for you. But the draw of Parkland is that you have a gated community. Most of them have a man gate there for extra levels of safety and security. And again, some people absolutely love that extra level of security. I personally feel like Parkland already, I feel safe going out in Parkland. It's not too much going on. The entire necessity of a gate and a guard, it just seems kind of an overkill when you think about it, because you're already in a kind of quiet area. So you're only protecting yourself against other wealthy people who are trying to protect themselves against the other neighborhoods. So kind of redundant and a waste of money in my eyes. But again, everybody's completely different, and whatever you want, I'll support you in your decision. Now get into the tours of the homes. Enjoy what you can get in Parkland, Florida.